Good. Well, I think we'll start. We were going to wait until the conference lets out to hopefully fill some more seats. But I'm glad that you all made it. So thank you for coming. My name is Jackson Bond. I'm with Relayer, one of the co-founders of Relayer. What I'm going to talk about today will be Internet of Things projects in the industrial space. I want to give you 5 examples. We have 15 minutes, so it'll be relatively quick. It'll be a little bit of a teaser so that you can come to the stand, which is just down here near the conference room, where the Relayer stand is, and come and see and get more details about some of the projects we're doing. What is interesting about our projects is that it involves IoT technology, insurance, and finance. So even though we're in the industrial space, think about that. How do these 3 things actually come together to enable a transformation, a digital transformation of an industrial business? So first, a little test. I'm going to show you 10 pictures, and I want you to find out, what do these 10 things have in common? Industrial size motors, 8,000 horsepower electrical engines, preheaters in coal power facilities, locomotives, micro factories for aluminum heat treatment, elevators, barista scale coffee machines, packaging machines in pharmaceuticals, textile machines, and city lights on streets, so street lights on cities. What do these have in common? Anybody? Anyone? Okay, yes, right? There are customers, number 1. Number 2 is obvious. All of these things were conceived and designed and built without the idea of being connected to the internet. The amount of data that's held within these machines was never conceived of as something that would add value if we could see it in the internet or use it in the internet. They're converging technologies. The incredible cost drop for electronics, the incredible price value for cloud computing and CPU power. These are converging technologies that are creating an entirely new value possibility for old assets, also for new ones, but also the legacy assets. So indeed, it's not necessarily Internet of Things as much as it's the Internet of legacy things. And how you create value is by data, right? You grab data. What we do is we grab old data and new data. So we integrate with legacy. We grab new data through additional sensors, and then we run algorithms to generate actual business insights. So our focus is around the business insights, finding that insights through the data streams that come from the machines, and connecting that together. Our primary focus is in the area of machines and equipment that are manufactured and deployed in the field. We also have customers that are service companies that are servicing these equipment. So some of you, I don't know, maybe we have a show of hands. How many of you all are making machines? Maybe a show of hands. Are you all, anyone making machines or servicing machines? Nobody? How about process automation in factories? There we go. Okay, that's our number 3 customer base. So we're actually going into factories and helping increase OEE in these factories by both retrofitting and tapping into existing data sources. We also have significant business with GE in the transport area, as well as the intelligent cities area, so the city lights. Those are specific products that we do. But when we talk to CEOs about their business and about their transforming their business, we found that across all of these different industrial areas, they have 5 key issues that they're trying to solve. Number 1 is, if I'm going to transform my business digitally, the first issue, the first challenge is, of course, finance. Who's paying for that? Who's going to help me finance this transformation into a new model? Next, digital skills. So I'm an industrial manufacturer. I don't have digital skills. And without digital skills, it's very hard for me to create a digital strategy around that, much less understand the business model potential with digital levers. So what does the ability to see data or analyze data, how does it actually transform my business going forward? And then what do I do with all the legacy stuff? Because 99% of what I have to deal with is legacy. And this is where Relayer comes in, and we support at every piece of these challenges. We create effectively a safety net for the company to execute on this strategy based on the data that we're unleashing. And the way we do that, this safety net, is not through our company, but through one of our partners, Munich Re and Hartford Steam Boiler. Now, Hartford Steam Boiler is an engineering and consultancy and insurance company, also based here, I think, in Manchester. They have 2,500 employees worldwide. 1,500 of them are engineering inspectors, so they understand machines. And through that, by seeing data from machines, they're actually able to provide new types of guarantees around the performance of these machines. So we combine the data that we unleash with a guarantee about performance optimization. And that can be in three ways. That can be in cost reduction. That can be in increasing overall effectiveness of those machines. But it can also be a transformation of the actual revenue. So for example, and what we're going to talk about in a second is transforming from a one-time CAPEX model where you're selling your machines to an OPEX model where you're actually providing those machines as a service. You're not giving them away. Because if you think about it, the intelligence for the future, the intelligence around your machines is your most valuable asset. The intelligence from your machines. If you sell that machine, that source of data, that source of intelligence, well then you've given up all of that value over the next 5 to 10 years in terms of product optimization, product building. So why would you do that? Why would you give all of that data away when you can keep it and add value to your customers? So the business outcomes for us is at the core of what we do on a technological level. And we basically, we combine four vectors. The technology to be able to deliver a solution for the customer. And then we wrap that in a security and insurance and a financial ability to help that transformation. So it's basically four vectors. An industrial Internet of Things project or a solution is not simply about the data, because the data is the enabling force, if you will, for the future of these businesses. Quickly about us, we're about 200 people in 5 countries, 11 cities. We focus on cloud platforms and APIs. That's most of our business model is around the enablement of data through APIs being interoperable to legacy systems. Very, very important. Legacy. You've got back-end systems, IT systems. You've got old equipment that needs connecting. How do you bridge those two worlds? You need adapters, you need APIs, and that's where we focus. Our company is 4 years old. We've been growing quite significantly, and we're being backed by a number of global companies, including the Deutsche Telekom, Munich Re, Cisco. So let's focus now on the use cases and the shift in actual models. So an equipment as a service model. I traditionally make a 1 million euro, let's say, air preheater, or I make a 200,000 euro wire manufacturing machine that makes wires for the industry. How can I start offering that as a service? If my entire P&L, my entire balance sheet is based on revenue that's coming in from from the sale of those machines. Let's look at how that happens. Because now that we have data, this is completely transforming, both for the machine makers, but also the service companies. So for example, an Italian company, one we've started to engage with, they manufacture these machines. They're somewhere in the neighborhood of 200,000 to 500,000 machines. They're going to start offering the machines to their customers on a per yard or per meter or per volume of wire produced or per hour of production, because they're adding in by keeping the data and the visibility of the data. They can provide that data to different sources of different people in the value chain, their end customers. An insurance company that's ensuring the effectiveness of those machines, that's ensuring the outcomes for their end customers. So shifting essentially from CAPEX to OPEX, but also the ability through the data to define these predictive algorithms to predict before failure. Second case, Alluvation. Alluvation has traditionally they've had 4 facilities around Europe, one of the leading heat treatment facilities for automobile parts. So they get shipped in these old facilities, they look like that. So this is the old world, giant facilities with ovens, and they get lots and lots of aluminum parts shipped to them. They have to heat treat them and then ship them out to the OEMs. They realized the cost of logistics, of shipping, is twice what the cost is of the actual heat treatment. Twice. They said the economics have completely flipped. This doesn't make sense anymore. So they sold off that company to disrupt it with this company, effectively taking the ovens and putting the ovens next to the OEM so that they can, on demand, heat treat aluminum pieces as the capacity of the manufacturing ramps up or ramps down, depending on the model of the automobile. So they can completely create, because they have the visibility from their center in Paderborn, Germany, they can see all of the microfactories that are shipped around the world, see their performance, send heating recipes down to each unit for heating, and they only need one person to push in all of the aluminum parts. Everything else is automated because they can see the data. And they have insurance around the performance of that data for themselves, but also for the OEMs. Third case, elevators. So this is not even the manufacturer, this is the services company. The services company is saying, we service all elevators agnostic of the OEM. We don't care who it is. We have 25,000 elevators, and we're ramping up to 135,000 elevators worldwide. They're saying, we need to disrupt because we don't have enough data from the elevators. We can't tap into those controllers, but we can add sensors on top. And that allows us the ability to actually optimize our entire maintenance shifting, our entire maintenance crews that have to visit the elevators, and we have real-time data, and we can develop predictive models around the servicing of those elevators. They see a 10-fold increase in their revenue because of this over the next 5 years. That's what they're planning. Coffee machines we talked about. So similar cases the elevators, only these are the manufacturers, an Italian company. These are the Ferraris of the barista coffee machine world. They cost 50,000 euros roughly, including the maintenance fees. So extremely expensive. What they're doing is they're saying, we're going to shift away from this model where we collect 42,000 or 43,000 euros, including the services, to this model where we're collecting 63,000, so 45% more revenue over a longer period of time, and we never give up the data. We share the data. We have a constant dialogue with all of our customers about the performance of those machines. We can engage with them. We can upsell and cross-sell additional features to the machines, but also to the customers. And we can continually optimize those machines so we can supply a machine that's even more efficient 2 years later. We can always provide the best machine possible. Last case, now this is more on the production side because a lot of you here are on the production side. So what are we doing here? This is very simple. We're optimizing between the machines. So Tenneco, many of you might know, Tenneco is one of the largest producers of shock absorbers worldwide. We know the Monroe brand of shock absorbers. So these are the products. This is their production line. This is a floor plan of their production facility. And this is the legacy that we have to deal with, right? How old do you think these are? This is 1991 Siemens S200, S300 PLCs. We have to deal with these kinds of PLCs to collect some of the data. And we're attaching and retrofitting sensors in each of these areas along the buffers and the material log and the material areas. And the business case for them is, if we can create or increase the efficiency of this factory from the 55% currently to 72%, then we can shift the entire production from one facility where the cost is 500,000 euros more per quarter to a much more affordable factory in the Czech Republic by simply optimizing and increasing that efficiency. And then we provide the OEE views and the OEE analysis in charts. So they have visualization, including alerts, and you can drill down and see what the actual overall equipment efficiency is. So those are just 5 different use cases. Let's see here. And I think the statement, I think, for all of you is, if you're not already thinking about these transformative new business models, then you're already behind. Disruption is already happening. It shouldn't be something that's your 2-year plan. It should be something that's your 6-month plan. You should execute as soon as possible. Thank you very much.